going on, and I'm hoping everybody is having a great weekend and most importantly staying warm. Weather's supposed to be better, at least a little bit better tomorrow as it reaches the low 50s, better than what we've been having the last few days. But welcome back to a Saturday edition of the top picks at wide receiver on Grade A Fantasy. I wanted to get these out by Thursday, at least no later than Friday. Work and other things got in the way. I apologize for that, but hey, nothing wrong with a little fantasy advice to get you ready before the slate basically locks in with another like 18 hours or so, something like that, maybe 16 hours or something like that from now. So, but I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Let's get right into it. We'll start at the top. Like I said, there's great options at the top, especially in the first five. I love the entire first five. AJ Brown, 9,300. I think he's a great way to go if you want to get away from the Saquon ownership. I think also what sounds weird is that picking Jalen Hurts possibly is a great way to picking Jalen Hurts and him to get away from the Saquon ownership. It's still a prime matchup all over when it comes through the air, across the middle, especially running the ball. That's why Saquon, no matter what, I am not surprised, even at five figures, 10,000 even, Saquon is so popular. But A.J. Brown also has the ability to break a slate, but I'm going to tick him down just a bit. I still love him. I still think the top five are great, but Devontae Smith is healthy. And just like how people were waiting for that 1 week to finally get on Jalen Waddle, and he probably helped them win a milli because he was like a low-owned 5,700 and he dropped like an 18.7, almost 20. Devontae Smith has that upside. So I'm going to tick down, even though he's the most expensive on the slate for the wide receivers. Out of the top five, I actually think he's number 5 or number 4. I like Justin Jefferson. You got to like Justin Jefferson every week, but man, you got to be the guy to stay expensive. And the coverages just have you all over. It's the cornerback, then it's help up top. Sometimes they shift over the safeties just to add extra room. Like Justin Jefferson is going to have one of his 20-something point days soon. When is it going to come? I don't know, but these defenses are not allowing him. And so far, his peak is 24.3 and a 21.8. But you know damn well he has 26.5 and higher upside. But the defenses are just not allowing it. But if you're gonna beat Atlanta is weaker in the defensive backfield than up front. So Justin Jefferson is always an option every week. It's just a case of how much of you want to get to him, because like I said, defenses sometimes have him constantly double teamed. Seems like they have, and then some will even take it to the extreme of constantly or occasionally triple teaming him. But very rarely, I think most of his coverages he sees, I would say out of whatever percentage out of his routes, I would say maybe a quarter of it, 20 to 25 is possibly, and that's probably sounding a lot, possibly some of those are single, everything else is either double or single coverage. I think his single coverage is under 20%, to be honest, but always an option there. Afternoon game with the highest total, Puka and Cup, both at 86 and 85. For this game, personally, you already know, like I said, the Bills do not change off what they do. I like Cooper better than Nakua. Why? Because even though both of them can run short routes, Cooper is the master of the short route, while Nakua will run probably either the next level or a little deeper than he would. But like I said, both are viable because the Bills are schemed to keep everything underneath. So it's just a case of, excuse me, it's just a case of what you would like to do, and I guess what can you afford. If you have to spare 100, you could go up to Nakua. If you don't, hopefully you have enough to get the Cup. And if you don't have enough money to get to him, to get to either of those two, hey, one of my top plays this week, I'm glad it was just maintenance, but one of my favorite plays, once again, Mike Evans, 8,400. It was a maintenance day. It didn't, his Q tag in the middle of the week, which did raise eyebrows, was not nothing to the point of having to worry if he wasn't going to play. He is perfectly healthy, and it was just a maintenance day. Like I said, the Tampa Bay, we worried about fantasy, of course, but Tampa Bay has playoff aspirations. They're still well into the playoff picture, even though they're not on the way out, but a couple losses here and there, and the wrong teams when it could put them out. They just need Mike Evans to be ready for game day. So Mike Evans is another great play, even though it shows fantasy ranking wise, the defensive backfield plays well. I've shown you many times that that's not true. And when it comes to actual football, no, they are not that good. Fantasy points wise, fine. But against Mike Evans, no, they're going to need help. He is always an option. With Malik Neighbors looking like he's going to be out because he hasn't practiced all week and it's a hip injury. Surprisingly, there's a lot of value going on this week. We'll take a look at the Giants. And now with that out the way, now everybody else seems more viable. Wan'Dale Robinson gets a slight boost at 54. Darius Slayton 53. And I think Jalen Hyatt will get a look in the slot at 46, or maybe on the outside. You can also look at Isaiah Hodgins at 41. Those are just options there. But I don't think I'll be going that far or in that direction at all. JSN in the Arizona game, like I said, it didn't take too long for him to just take over the Tyler Lockett role. He is a great option at 8K. Drake London and his partner in crime. Where is he actually? Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is a little too cheap. I think what it is that he's playing with injuries, but I definitely like Darnell Mooney and Drake London. Minnesota, great front seven. How you beat them is attacking the defensive backfield. They are bound and liable to give up good plays. So 5,900 Mooney, $7,900 Drake London, great options. Obviously, is there a right to be nervous for picking them? Because if Kirk Cousins looks like crap again for week 3, for the third week in a row, then he's most likely benched. And they just might give it to Bijan because now Bijan has definitely have a firm hold on the offense and the defensive backfield. Tyler Algier is no longer a thing. You can't possibly even say his name unless Bijan gets hurt. That's it. So I love George Pickens this week, 7,500. Nursing a hamstring injury and a Q tag, but Cleveland's secondary definitely suspect. Always a great pick for big plays. It was literally just a couple weeks ago in that snow game. Yes, 7 targets, 4 for 48, but there will be no snow. It'll just be cold weather, so he seems all good. You already saw my 49er video. Like I said, I guarantee Debo should get 3 to 5 carries in the backfield, maybe some option swings, 1 or 2, and then he'll be able to do his regular wide receiver thing, attacking the Bears zone. I think he's bound for a big day, purposely for what I think he needs to do. I think he's too cheap. What I expect from him, I really think Debo should be his regular, how he has his okay games, and then he'll have a couple of big games, like, typical Debo, when he's like 79, 81, 82, 85, something like that. I think he's just too cheap. He's dropped in price because of the 49ers offensive struggles. Lad McConkey, he'll be a popular late night option as, FanDuel continues to put the 820 game on against KC. That's a challenge. I like Brian Thomas this week, even with Mac Jones. I also like Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr. for what he can do deep threat wise. You can beat Tennessee deep wise. Once again, to me that's a false ranking. That's one of those cases where I told you fantasy wise that's what it is, but real football wise it's not. Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington at 5,800 are both viable options for Jacksonville. As long as he stays in, Jacoby Myers, like I said, the Bucks are still a pass funnel. I love Jacoby Myers this week. Still rocking a Q tag, but reports was he was all good to go Friday. So 6,700. Against a collapsing offense, DJ Moore at 66, Keenan Allen at 64. Makes it very affordable stacks for Caleb Williams. They're going to be attacking a very suspect 49er secondary. Nick Bosa ruled out again. Less pressure on Caleb Williams. We know Caleb Williams likes to stay in the pocket. He might take some bad sacks, but guess what? 49ers without Bosa won't generate that much pressure. He has a lot of time to look at both DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, maybe even Cole Kmet. As a GPP, Cole Kmet has been quiet the last few weeks. So we have that with that pairing, Khalil Shakir against a very suspect Los Angeles Rams secondary. I like Jawan Jennings as well in Chicago. Like they're going to have to, once again, all the passing opportunity is going to the skill position receivers. They do not pass to any of these backup running backs. They don't. They do not. So that's just more targets. 6, 7, 8 typical McCaffrey targets out the backfield. Those are going to get divvied up to Jennings, Kittle, and Debo. So you have to like all the wide receivers there. You have to. Just have to. The volume is going to be there. Calvin Ridley and Nick Westbrook-Ikine are interesting against Jacksonville. They are making their stacks very, very interesting. The funny thing is, Nick Westbrook-Ikine finally, after weeks, slightly priced up because he's been 5,000 for a while. He doesn't get that much volume, but he's scoring touchdowns. This is DFS, so I was wondering when he was finally at least going to make it up to I thought he was finally going to make it up to at least 64, 65 this week. 62 is fine. He's in the 6,000, understandable. But paying attention to price. Y'all know Calvin really went down $200, maybe even 300. He's been in the low 6,000, 65. I think he was literally 67 or 65 either 2 weeks ago, and then I think he got to 65 last week, and he went down $200. So pretty interesting. I know it was a down week for him, but Calvin Ridley against Jacksonville should not be this cheap. Like I said, Calvin Ridley, with the year that he's had, the efficiency and the opportunity, because obviously sometimes DraftKings and FanDuel will price up based on the opportunity of what's going on. Nick Westbrook-Ikine, to me, because what he's been doing DFS-wise, just should be a tad more expensive. Tad more expensive means I get 65. I thought Calvin Ridley, even though he had an off week, should have either stayed at 65 or went back up to 66, 67. But minus 200, I say take advantage of that, because if he has a good week this week, I guarantee Ridley is sniffing 68, 69, maybe even 7,000 next week. Then, of course, you have in the low 6,000 going on to 5,000, Jerry Jeudy and Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison has had a great, I don't mean to take away from Jerry Jeudy because he did have a great week, great Thursday night game, great Monday night game, but Jordan Addison has he's had a fine season because he's getting the opportunity. Look at this, it's consistent, no lower than 4, maybe 1 week or 3, and he has 5, 8, 9, 6 targets because they're doubling Justin Jefferson. That's why Jordan Addison is always an option every week. Once we started seeing the pattern of what they were doing with Jefferson, and then of course, yes, you can get excited when Justin Jefferson had his 2 breakout 20-point games, but it's not really a breakout. It's just a really good game for Double J because of the price that he always is. But with the way that they're playing Jordan Addison, and now with what seems to be, look, they took care of Hockenson. He's playing great. Hockenson is looking amazing. I like Hockenson's play, so Hockenson at his price and Jordan Addison at his price, they look great this weekend. As we keep going down, like I said, we spoke about Darnell Mooney. Jalen Waddle, still a tad cheap, could be a GBP option. One of my favorite cheap plays is Adam Thielen. I think there could be a lot of stuff going underneath to him, especially if you're expecting a blowout, so there's going to be a lot of passing late. I think he's a great play in tournaments. He should be a bit popular, but I do like him in tournaments. Cedric Tillman still out with the concussion, so that definitely gives a lot of more opportunity for Elijah Moore, David Njoku. Elijah Moore in that game against the Steelers a couple weeks ago, like I said, 5 targets, 3 for 21, but weather implications and everything, it's just going to be cold, but it'll be clear. Elijah Moore will get a little bit more attention. And as we keep going down here, we already went over some of the cheap options, so there's not really much here. I don't think there's really any need to go down this far, to be honest. There's nothing really here. Unless you're looking for a home run deep shot with Van Jefferson, who in that snow game, 2 for 29, 1 for 43. He's literally a big play. They give him his 2 to 3, maybe 4 deep shots in a game, and then that's it. But that is the wide receiver video and the wide receiver preview for Week 14. Good luck building your lineups tonight. I will continue to do my own little research and build my lineups. I might play on both sites, just to be curious. The 20 max is fun over there on DraftKings, but as usual, I will be on the 20 max on FanDuel as I normally am. Already have lineups built in there, just have to finish them. complete all my 20 max entries. I already have 3 liners built in there, so 17 to go. Once again, good luck and thank you for watching. Appreciate the likes, appreciate the views. Thank you so much, and good luck in week 14. And by the way, treasure this week, because from here on out, no more buys. So back to the big 13/14 game slates from here on out. 6 teams are on bye, and then that's it. It's the push to the playoffs all the way in to the first week of 2025. Good luck. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.